at least 19% of the African continent is Catholic. We have about 80,000 sisters and religious men who work in hospitals and clinics. So the church builds schools to bring about intellectual liberation of the people. The church in Africa, in my opinion, is the single most impactful institution on the continent. Charles Palmer Buckle is my name. I am 72 years old, currently the Metropolitan Archbishop of Cape Coast in Ghana. What is SECAM? SECAM is the acronym for Symposium of Episcopal Conferences of Africa and Madagascar. SECAM, S-E-C-A-M. But of late, we normally say Symposium of Episcopal Conferences of Africa and the adjacent islands, because Madagascar is not the only island. What is a symposium? The word symposium is a Greek word that means conversing or deliberating around a meal, around a drink, in a relaxed atmosphere. So with a meal. That is how it began. So they decided to use the terminology symposium to make it an association of elders of the church coming together to share their concerns, their worries, and also their mission, their successes, their challenges, and the rest. So that is how they decided to call it the Symposium of Episcopal Conferences of Africa and the Islands. Presently, it is made up of 38 Episcopal conferences of the whole of Africa. 38 Episcopal conferences. Maybe what is an Episcopal conference? In any country, the bishops come together to form an Episcopal conference. So in Ghana, my country, for instance, we have 20 dioceses. So the bishops, who are about 20, come together to form a conference. So that is an Episcopal conference. And in Africa, made up of about 54 countries where there are Catholic churches, some conferences are what we call interterritorial, means 2-3 countries come together. Some are regional, also 2-3 countries come together. So we have in all 38 Episcopal conferences of Africa that are members of SECAM. So they are called regional Episcopal conferences. At least 19% of the African continent is Catholic. Africa is a very young continent. About 65% of the population of Africa is below the age of 35. So it's a continent that is growing and has a lot of vitality, youthful exuberance and everything. So the church builds schools to bring about intellectual liberation of the people. So many parishes, many dioceses have schools. My own diocese of Cape Coast can boast of about 450 schools in the remotest villages. Primary schools, secondary schools, and even tertiary institutions. So there we give formal education, not only to Catholics, to anybody who avails himself or herself of education, because we believe in intellectual liberation of the people. Then number 2, we have hospitals and clinics. In my Archdiocese of Cape Coast, we have at least 6 hospitals and 1 clinic where we offer health care delivery to any and everybody who needs health care. Because there are people who are sick, there are people who are handicapped, there are people who have, different problems, health hazards, and the rest of it. So we also have hospitals and clinics that are available to take care of these people. Then we have, in addition to these two, education and healthcare delivery, we also are involved in works of charity and social services, social development. We are involved in helping people, to taking care of the poor, the needy, the marginalized, the migrants, the refugees, the displaced persons, lepers, name it and all. So these are three important, indispensable responsibilities of evangelization. In many African countries, the church is involved in making sure that there is political, freedom of the people. Elections are free and fair. We go monitoring these things. The church in Africa, in my opinion, is the single most impactful institution on the continent. We have about 80,000 sisters and religious men who work in hospitals and clinics, who work in social services, who are involved in, women empowerment, youth empowerment programs, who are involved even in agricultural development in their own countries. Then we have Catholic teachers. Let me say this, that we bring employment to thousands of teachers because of our Catholic schools, to thousands and thousands of doctors, nurses, healthcare workers, to, a good number of people in social services. And we bring support also to the ordinary people and the rest. So I would say that the church is really acting as salt to bring a taste to life. It's really acting as light to help people break away from, prejudices, blindness of different kinds, intellectual, prejudice, and so on and so forth. In my country, for instance, how many times have we not been involved in brokering peace between political parties, between ethnic groups and places, between empowering women in their, daily struggles, giving, helping to provide developmental facilities like building wells to give clean water to people, like, having agricultural, facilities that bring people to learn what to do for themselves. So I would say, yes, the church is a very, very important component in the development of Africa. And that is where SECAM comes in. SECAM, for instance, we have, on the level of the continent, a liaison officer in the AU in Addis Ababa, whose duty it is to be there to see how Africa is being socially, politically, and economically, directed, and informing us, the bishops, to know what type of lobbying and advocacy we should do to our own parliamentarians in our own countries and the rest, for them to impact positively upon what we call, decisions that impact the continent and even beyond. Let me give you a very simple primary example. I was sitting in my office in Accra when I was Archbishop of Accra, somewhere about 2007, 2008. A young boy walks up to my office with tears in his eyes. He was crying. I asked him, what is the matter? He said he was a university student and he was having challenges paying his fees. And I asked whether he was a Catholic, because he had come to me as a Catholic Archbishop. He said he was. I asked which parish he belonged to. So I gave him a note to go and see the parish priest so that they could put him on their bursary. You know, they have a, scholarship bursary, they give stipends and the rest. When he went, the parish priest called me to say they have already distributed their bursary and they would put him on the next year's. So I called the young man back, called Philip, and I, from the Archbishop's Education Endowment Fund, took some money and paid his fees. I told him, as soon as you get the university, pay the fees, send me back the receipt. Prompt. When he got there, he paid, he sent it to me by WhatsApp. This young man, we helped him, the parish helped, I also helped from the Archdiocesan Education Endowment Fund. He went on to make first class in mechanical engineering. And I got so interested in the young man, how active he was in church, how serious he was. I connected him with another person I know in the United States of America, where he was offered scholarship to go to North Carolina University to do postgraduate. As I talk to you now, he has won about 5 awards from the university where he is into nanotechnology, something I had never heard of before. And now he is the pride of the university. He has been loaned to 2 big companies in America, and they are helping him to do his doctorate degree. This is just one of the success stories. I can give you another one, personal, of a woman who was having challenges with having childbirth. And I had to direct her to one of our clinics. They did her total examination and everything. And then finally, they asked her to see one of the doctors who could help find out what was her health problem, health challenge. As I talk to you, she's a mother of 2 or 3 children. So I would say these are just minute cases, but I'm sure every bishop can talk about so many other experiences. And these things rejoice your heart. You are happy. Any bishop is happy that at least you did not curse the darkness. You lighted a candle. Somebody else will light from that candle, and another person. And gradually, Africa will get brighter and brighter, in my opinion. My name is Charles Palmer Buckle. I am presently the Metropolitan Archbishop of Cape Coast in Ghana.